Today on Sports Central, we'll be going over a college football game preview and prediction on a big matchup coming up in the Big Ten in Week 15. And this one's going to be between the Wisconsin Badgers and the Iowa Hawkeyes, two teams of which have had pretty good seasons so far. I mean, for Wisconsin, it's kind of been a very odd season. I mean, they started out very well with two big wins over Michigan and Illinois before having two really bad games against Indiana and Northwestern. Meanwhile, for Iowa, they won 5 straight after starting off 0-2. And it's been a pretty good season up to this point for Iowa, and they're still playing for a pretty good bowl game, which both these teams in general are playing for good bowl games. It's just a matter of whichever team can win this matchup will go to the better one. But in the end, we'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Wisconsin lost to Indiana last week, 6-14 being the final score. Wisconsin has had a very odd last couple of games. I mean, they only scored 6 against Indiana last week, and they only scored 7 against Northwestern the week before. So this offense has had a lot of struggles over the past couple of games, which is a huge surprise considering they averaged 47 points per game for their first couple of games. But all around, yeah, for Wisconsin, they're a very talented team. They just have not been able to win their games here. Indiana, that was a very winnable game, I think, for Wisconsin. They just could not get anything going on offense, and credit to Indiana there. I mean, their defense played very well against Wisconsin here, but all around, Wisconsin definitely should have been able to score more than 6 points, and that's kind of been the problem for them recently. But meanwhile, for Iowa, they beat Illinois 35-21 last week. That was a good win there for Iowa. I mean, for Illinois, Illinois has been a pretty good team recently. I mean, they kept that game pretty close throughout the entire thing until the end when Iowa started to pull away there. But still a very good win for Iowa. They're 5-2 right now with a 5-game winning streak, and they're definitely looking like a top 20 team in the nation. As for Wisconsin, they're currently ranked 25th in the AP poll. They're 2-2 with a 2-game losing streak. So Wisconsin's got a lot at stake here. I mean, a good bowl game is definitely on the line here for Wisconsin in this matchup, because if you go 2-3, there's a possibility you don't even make a bowl game. So for Wisconsin, there's a lot at risk here, which I definitely think Wisconsin, even if they do go 2-3, I think there is still a good chance they make a bowl game just because of the name and the fans that are at Wisconsin. There's still a good chance that they do make one, but there always is the risk there that you don't. So for Wisconsin, this will be a crucial game for them, especially in making a bowl game. This game's going to be on Saturday, December 12th, 2:30 p.m. Central Time in Iowa City. So the Hawkeyes will be the home team here. Spread currently says Iowa by 3. ESPN FPI is going with Iowa 68%, and the Vegas prediction is going with Iowa in a close one, 31-27, currently being the current final score projection. Here's a stat comparison for this game. Wisconsin's got some very low numbers on their side, especially on defense too. They got 26 points per game, 12 points allowed per game. So, the defense has looked very good so far. There's no doubt on that. It's just the offense. The offensive stats are not very good right now with 26 points per game. But they also have 201 pass yards a game. So Graham Mertz, of course, who's been the starting quarterback all season for Wisconsin. He had a really good first couple of games, but the last couple of games haven't been as good for him. But, Graham Mertz is still definitely, I think, capable of having a good season. It's just a matter of whether or not his offensive line can protect him. But they also have 199 rush yards per game, which, that isn't very impressive out of Wisconsin, considering this is always a huge rushing team. We've seen some great running backs come out of Wisconsin over the past few years. Just name off a few. We got, of course, Jonathan Taylor, who just went out after last season, Melvin Gordon, Monte Ball. All of those running backs have come out of Wisconsin. And right now, they've got Berger, who's their top running back right now, but he's only put up 267 yards through 4 games. So they don't have a very definite running back right now, which, that's kind of been the key for Wisconsin's success over the past few years, is a great running back. And it doesn't really look like that they have that right now. So they definitely have to get that fixed moving forward if they're going to be a legit contender. But, Wisconsin is still very talented. Don't get me wrong there. They've got a ton of great players. They got Ferguson, who's put up nearly 300 yards on the season with 4 touchdowns. So he's had a great season in himself. And, I think for Wisconsin, the problem also has been, once again, on offense. They just cannot get anything going right now. But they have been allowing 72 rush yards per game. So they've been doing pretty good on the defensive side. They only allowed 14 points to Indiana and 17 points to Northwestern, which, they've been averaging 17 points per game. So, or allowing 12 points per game. So really for Wisconsin, they've been pretty good on the defensive side. It just matters on the offense for them right now. As for Iowa, they got 32 points per game, 17 points allowed. They have 195 pass yards a game, 177 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, they got 211 passing and 115 rushing. So for Iowa on their side, they've been all around pretty good on both sides of the ball. Petras has been their quarterback, who's had a little bit of an interception issue, but he's put up some pretty good yardage as he's put up nearly 1,400 yards on this season through 7 games, which is not terrible by any means. So he has had a pretty good season considering this is his first season starting for the Hawkeyes. But as far as it goes on the defensive side, Iowa's also been pretty good, and that's why I think this is probably going to be more of a defensive game between both of these teams here. I mean, you got two teams who really don't score a whole lot, and also I've got some great defenses here. Like, both these teams are averaging 15 points per game as far as allowing points goes. So, I mean, both teams are very good on the defensive side. There's no doubt about that. Some key points for this one, though. Wisconsin, I mean, their primary problem over the past couple of weeks has just been how inconsistent that they are. I mean, if you look at how well they played in the first couple of games of the season, like they blew out both Michigan and Illinois, and they looked really good in both of those games, but ever since, it's just been kind of a problem for them. Like, they have not been near as good over the past couple of weeks in comparison to the beginning of the season, and for them, they just got to find whatever they did best at the beginning of the season and do it here because, I mean, they got to score more than 20 points here if they're going to beat Iowa. You know, for Iowa, they've got a ton of momentum heading into this matchup. I mean, if you look at the Hawks right now, I mean, all around, they're just playing very well on both sides of the ball. Their defense has been really good, especially over the past couple of weeks and for the past season, and for that matter. I mean, Iowa's been very good on both sides of the ball. And for Wisconsin, I mean, once again, they got to score quite a few points, I think, if they're going to beat Iowa here, because Iowa's offense is also pretty good. So Iowa all around is just a more talented team, and they're also the team I'm more confident in right now because Wisconsin, I mean, they've lost 2 games in a row. They're just not looking very good at all right now, and that's kind of been the problem for them. But I mean, for Wisconsin, I mean, they're a lot better than the record shows right now. Like, I think 2-2 is not a good record to show how much talent that Wisconsin really has. Like, this is a team that's worthy of being a one-loss team. They just have not been able to execute. So, I mean, for Iowa moving forward, this is going to be a very important game for them, especially if they're going to want to make it to a good bowl game, which in the end, it's going to be very close. This was a very tough one to predict, but I think I would go with the Hawks in the end. Final score is going to be 24-20. We're going to see Iowa get the win in a close one, also a low-scoring game. I don't expect this one to be a shootout by any means. I mean, both teams have been pretty low-scoring throughout the season, so I think both teams are going to keep this one pretty low-scoring. But in the end, once again, Iowa's going to get the win, 24-20 being your final score. Probability is going to be 60% towards the Hawks, so I really am not very confident in this game. Like, I think Wisconsin's going to lead it at the half. Like, your halftime score is going to be 14-10, Wisconsin leading it. But I think in the final, once again, 24-20 is going to be the final score there. Iowa is going to get a big win here over the Badgers, and I think this is going to be something that will probably put Iowa in a pretty good bowl game. Like, I mean, for them right now, it looks like the Citrus Bowl and the Outback Bowl are going to be the most likely options. And honestly, I mean, it's tough to say right now, but for Iowa, this will be a pretty important game in determining which one that they're going to go to moving forward. But then again, let me know your thoughts and comments below on this matchup. Let me know your score predictions, all of that down below. I'd appreciate all your guys' support as well. So if you enjoyed this preview, slap a like on it, subscribe as well if you're not already yet, as it really helps with the channel, and I'd really appreciate that. But as always, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central, and I'll catch you on the next one.